1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, you guys ready?
I prefer that my parents, if I play bad, don't say anything. And if I play well, it doesn't really matter if they compliment me on how I play. I just I don't know, I prefer my parents to, not talk as much.
I can hear them like cheering me on, and I'm like thinking in my head, just shut it, I'm trying to focus.
My mom yells in Spanish, like, go, go, go.
My mom usually says, use the backboard. You should use the backboard. I get angry because it annoys me. I'm kind of embarrassed.
She tells me to get in the position that my coach told me not to get in. I'm like, well, no. And then she's like, get in your position. I'm like, no.
I get a little tense when I have a certain score to get, and she's like, you gotta get that whatever score. And I'm like, ah. I don't like it when they try to push me even more, even though I'm trying really, really hard. Coming from the coach's mouth is kind of better, I feel like, because your parents are there to support you and your coach is there to help you, you know? You just start screaming, Valentina, run faster, make a basket. But I just start going slower every time when she says that.
The other people were like, wow, that mom is like really wanting her kid to win.
In my inside, you can't see it, but I'm inside saying, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Sometimes I just look into space.
I try to listen to them and then do what they say to so they don't start yelling again. I don't really want them to give me that much advice because then I might forget it all. Sometimes I get nervous when they yell and nobody else is yelling.
Sometimes it can embarrass me, like a lot.
Wait. What's going on? We're just trying to do this, but you want us to try harder?
Well, I am.
I'm not going into a game not trying my hardest. That'd be like messed up.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Sometimes when they try to get the ball in basketball, you kind of think in your head that they're kind of like gonna push you and you're gonna fall and hurt yourself.
They don't need to always be telling me what to do every minute of the game. They kind of just gotta let me play.
I love when you say it really nice. I got it, Mom.
I'd like to look back and I'd like to see you smile or give me a thumbs up.
Mom, I wish you would be a little bit quieter. Say you play good and you couldn't get them next time.
When they smile and say good job.
Mom and Dad,
Thank you for loving me.
I love
Be my supporter.
when I'm upset, my mom and dad cheer me up.
Sometimes I forget about all the work that they do for me.
Be my biggest fan.
We need a lot of love. I want you to know
I need big hugs.
I love the snacks that you bring me. It makes me happy when you always encourage me.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Please just be my mom and dad. Yep, that's it.
So, credit to them, I would definitely check that website out. This video and that website have nothing to do with me. And the reason I open up with that video is this, and I would probably swear if there wasn't kids in the room. Kids are effing smart. Because every single thing that they have said on that video is in line with the science and research of high-level human performance. Okay? And that's what I'm gonna take you through hopefully today. So, picture of me looking cheesy. Why am I doing this? Why am I giving up my time? Number one, I've been there. I've sat where your kids are sat right now. My dad, an elite level rugby coach, started playing rugby at the age of 5 or 6. At the age of 12, guess what? I was a natural, gifted, gonna play for this or do this. No, I wasn't. That was because I started playing at 6 and everyone else started playing at 10. So I had a psychological advantage. I had experience, I had mental representations. But then the results became important to me. Fix my mindset. By the time I got to college, where it matters, I quit. I want to play. Okay? Went to a good program, very rarely played. So I wanted to answer those questions. And don't get me wrong, right now, I'm extremely grateful for those failures because I've found a passion and a motivation that I never found in sport. I have big goals myself. This isn't about me standing up and helping junior golfers. I want this to one day be a TED Talk. I want to stand up and present in front of big organizations, maybe even at corporate level. So yes, I'm here to help you guys and have some good information, but don't get me wrong, I'm also here to help myself, right? And we have to be honest and transparent. And my goal is this: I want to be the best parent in the world, but I am not blessed with a child right now. So my goal is to put what I have learned and my experiences and what my mentors have told me and what my journey's taught me, and because I can't put it into my own child, to help you select any nuggets or wisdom and maybe choose what you want to put into yours. Okay? Very simply, my business that I've set up takes the science of learning and human performance, it takes the parent, and maybe the cutest kid in the world, and one of the smartest, and brings it all together. Because right now there's a disconnect. The journey that I've been on to educate myself about human performance has taken me to some of the best professors that walk this planet. They have, Dr. Anders Ericsson at Florida State has dedicated his life to finding out why do some people perform at this level and others at a lower level. Benjamin Bloom, the same. And I've spent time with these people, I've talked to these people, so I have this level of understanding that Golf Digest or the Golf Channel is not going to give you guys. This real good information never filters down to the people that need it the most. So I want to make the academia practical and digestible for you guys, so you can understand how important the environment you set at home is on your child's evolution. You can understand how one sentence can undo that 12-pack of coaching that you just paid for. Okay, so it's extremely important that we understand some fundamental principles. So this is from my book, and it's an adaptation of Benjamin Bloom's work. Benjamin Bloom has written a book, Developing Talent in Young People. It's amazing. I recommend that every single person in the room read this. Go to, I think it's called Blinkist, if you don't like to read the full stuff, and just pay $2.99 for someone to give you a synopsis on it. Get the audio book, but the information is phenomenal. And sometimes I don't understand the science and research, right? It takes me a while. I'm definitely not the smartest person in this room, so I turn them into diagrams to help me understand what it is that these people are saying. It's just how I guess communicate with myself or learn. This stuff comes from a lady called Angela Duckworth, The Grit Scale. She also wrote a book called Mindset. Again, that's a good one that I want to read. But ultimately, what does all their research tell us? Okay, it tells us this. Something that is missing from golf coaching and parenting is understanding the phase of participation that your child is in. When I look around this room right now, there's going to be a blend. But a number of the children in this room should be in this. Having fun. Because the goal of organized sport is to create lifelong participation. That's the first goal. If your child is getting into a sport and the first thing is about winning or losing, they will burn out and they will drop out by the time they are 14. They will be playing because they want to make you proud, not playing because they love the sport. Now, that does change. That does change. If you enter your child into a fun phase, if they are stimulated and enjoying, let's say golf, and they come to you and say, Mom, Dad, I think I want to play college golf. You might be like, well, maybe we should enter a tournament first, if they haven't already. But they need to drive it. And when they come to you and tell you, hey, I want to go to college, or I want to play number 1 on the high school team, you need to have a serious conversation. Because you've got to then put them in a program that aligns with those goals. And that's when it gets intense. Because they asked for it. You didn't tell them they were going to do it, they asked for it. And then, well, let's quickly recap. So they're having fun, it's all about enjoyment. They almost become addicted to the sport, addicted to having fun. They choose now that they want to participate and get better, and compete, and win, and develop skills. Well, that comes with a price for them. That comes with time, effort. They have to now build self-determination. If you don't build self-determination at that point, you're not going to achieve those goals. So then training switches. And then it switches again. Because when they go to college, do you know how many kids go to college with absolutely no autonomy? Because their coach has held their hand and their parents have held their hand the whole time. And they get to college, and guess what? Mum's not there to give them snacks in qualifying. And Dad can't wake them up to get them out of bed and drive them to the golf course. And now they are screwed. Because college coach says, hey, I'm paying you to be here. I'm paying you to be here, I'm paying you to shoot a score. Because at some point, you've already got this as the foundation. They love the game. They love it. So they can deal with that because they have this love for the game. They're not going to quit. They've trained in an environment that has seen failure as a good thing. Failure is a stepping stone to success. Most of these guys want to go into practice and just hit good shots and succeed. When they're in this, it's mum and dad's responsibility, coach's responsibility to put pressure on them to fail. Build self-determination. And then an autonomous act. Because when you have autonomy and when you can do stuff yourself, and you know what time you have to arrive at the course, and you know your warm-up, and you know a high-carb breakfast is a good idea, and you've done your breathing exercises, and you do all that off your own back, you're probably ready to then, if you choose to, LPGA Tour if you choose to. Okay, so this is super important. That's why I open up with that. But why? Why? PCDs, psychological characteristics for developing excellence. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Winning and losing is going to take place every single day. But the vehicle of organized sport, what that can do for your child's psychology is unbelievable. And they're listed here. Goal setting, coping with pressure, use of imagery. These are the factors that separate the best from the people that operate below them. These factors. Not the mechanics of the golf swing, not physical size. Yes, LeBron James was definitely born with an advantage over me for playing in the NBA. LeBron James' use of imagery and his evaluations of his own performance far outweighs anything I do in my life. And I do this. His goal setting process is probably more deeper and detailed than mine. His planning and organizational skill, if you listen to him on a podcast, listen to his day. He spends over $1 million a year on his nutrition and his body, getting it right. He sleeps X amount of hours a day, he can run through everything he does. So yes, there's a genetic advantage. There's a lot of people in this world with LeBron James's genes, there's not many that do this, and he does all of this. Okay? If you're creating the right environment for your child, you're helping them build psychological excellence. So what does that look for in sport or in golf? Okay. Psychological excellence. Your son or daughter stands on this hole and they go, oh my God, if I hit this in the water, mum's not going to let me have tea tonight. The PlayStation's getting taken away. Okay? That's not a good thought process for them to have. Deshaun Watson, I couldn't find anything in Georgia, so I'm really sorry to you guys. 2 minutes to go. Alabama score the national championship. I'm sure you guys watched it, right? All probably cheering him on, I'm guessing. Alabama scored. You know what he did? And this is in an interview, and I'm so angry at myself, I didn't record it. He looks up at the clock, and you know what he says to himself? Yes, they scored too early. They scored too early. They should not have given us 2 minutes with the ball, because we do, in practice, every day, we do a 2-minute drill. We go for the length of the field in 2 minutes. They scored, they messed up. That's psychological excellence on a whole other level, because what are most people thinking? Alabama again, damn it. That's it, it's over. So that is a prime example of psychological excellence, and actually how it links back to training. Does anyone notice that? Muggsy Bogues, I believe. If your son comes to you and he's 5'5" and says, Mum, I'm not playing the NBA, sorry son, you're not. Well, you might, because there's no genetic advantage there, right? Only psychological characteristics of excellence have taken this guy. He wasn't born with a gene that made him jump that high. He's worked on that in training. What is psychological excellence? It's the ability to get your thoughts and feelings to match your intention, which you've read numerous times. Deshaun Watson, when they scored, looked up at that clock. His thoughts and feelings matched his intention. He had thoughts of what we did in practice, and he told himself they scored too early. And that was easy, wasn't it? He made it look easy when he went down the field. Tiger Woods stands on there. 17th, TBC Sawgrass. That's one of the visually most intimidating holes in the world. He doesn't even see the water. Doesn't even see the water. All he sees is where he wants to hit the ball. He does his breathing exercises. He goes into the deep pre-shot routine. He has the ability to get his thoughts and feelings to match his intention. I want to play in the NBA. Sorry, you're 5'5". But I'll build resilience then. I'll find a way. I'll be a center, or I'll do this. Straight away, adjusting the goal setting to his physical capability, thoughts and feelings, matching his intention. So very important. Where else? Where else do young children's thoughts and feelings have to match their intention? You want to be a surgeon. There's a lot of pressure there. So are we trying to win the Hurricane Tour? Or are we trying to win the high school championship? Or are we trying to give our children psychological gifts that can help them in later life? Whether they want to be a surgeon, or whether they want to be a teacher. It really doesn't matter. But sport is a vehicle to whatever you want it to be, if it's conducted in the right environment, because it can help fuel psychological excellence. And yes, my background is cognitive psychology, so some people will claim that I'm biased towards mental traits or psychology. And they'd be right, because anything that I've ever done in my life has started with a thought. And I'm sure it's the same for you guys, okay? I think this one's interesting. Thoughts and feelings match their intention for the teenage boys in the room. When they want to go to the prom, and there's the girl that they want to ask out, and and they're too chicken to do it because they might get turned down? Is their thoughts and feelings matching their intention? Now, as a 16-year-old boy or a 15-year-old boy, if you want to ask that girl out and you haven't asked her out, and all you want to do is ask that girl out and be there, how do you think that impacts my golf? You think that 3-foot putt that I just missed when I kick my club and throw it at the back, you think I'm angry at that putt? Or might there be, for teenage boys, might there be other things fueling that behavior? But when you walk into an exam, oh my God, if I don't get this grade, I'm not going to go to Georgia. I should have studied more. But that's not the mindset Deshaun Watson had when Alabama scored with 2 minutes to go. Okay? So, thoughts and feelings matching intention. This is a vehicle that, sport is a vehicle that can create habits. Habits that can serve children and adults in later life. So, just very quickly, again, the biopsychosocial model of performance. This is very academic, very detailed, but I'm going to make it really, really simple. Coping skills, social, I've touched upon them when I've talked about thoughts, feelings, equal intention. So social, right? What's that got to do with golf or golf performance? Well, if your child is playing golf and all of his friends play football, and he maybe wants to play football, but he knows dad likes golf, he's going to drop out. He's going to drop out. There's bigger things than qualifying for your first AJGA and winning your first AJGA. What the AJGA do very, very well is the environment they create and the friendships that these kids will form. What the US kids do extremely well is at Pinehurst. All those kids become friends and it becomes an annual thing. Expensive trip, but an annual thing. And guess what you guys then do? When the kids go to bed because they've got to play the next day, you guys crack open the wine and the beer becomes social for you. But sometimes that's ruined because a 6-year-old missed a 3-foot putt on the last to win. 6. That kid's more concerned if Spider-Man is real than that 3-foot putt. It's only the dad that's concerned about that. Okay? I've had a dad come up to me and say he wants to win. And I said, he's 9. I said, when I was 9, I wanted to be a Thundercat or a Superman. Like, it doesn't matter what you want. He wants to have fun, let him go play. And this dad says to me, biggest week of the year. And I'm like, what, you guys get to be president again or something? No. US juniors. Guess what? I don't coach this kid anymore. I don't coach this kid. Dad's a dentist. Started coming to the sessions, started telling me what to do. I told him, I'm going to come to your surgery when you're doing a cavity, and I'm going to lean over and tell you it should be an X2, not. That was it. Game over. And the son is going to quit, unfortunately. He's going to, and he's miserable. He doesn't enjoy playing. So please, if you want participation, they've got to have friends. And guess what? When 1 or 2 of them decide that they want to go to intense level, they can do it together. I'm going to beat you. They can trash talk. It's healthy. Okay, but you can't miss out that first stage. Very quick. Teenagers. Neocortex or prefrontal cortex. We all have this. It's like, man, I got to earn some more money to pay this bill, so I'm going to do this, or I'm going to make this change with the business, or, you know what, I have to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm going to go to bed at 9. That's your prefrontal cortex speaking. And we all have it, it's developed. Those guys, they operate for you. If it feels good and it's fun, they're going to do it. When you tell them, hey, go to bed because you have to get up early, they're like, Fortnite. Way better than going to bed. They don't care, they're getting up early. Yeah. And they're not being disobedient. When you tell them, hey, do this with your grip or this with your stance, because this will happen, well, I didn't feel right, I don't do that. And they're not being disobedient. They are kids, their brains aren't formed. And guess what? This might not even form until they're 25. And you know when I decided, okay, I'm going to do something with my life rather than just go out partying because I'm a fair rugby player? It was about 25, 26. I've not just learned the science of this, I can relate this to my life, to the very, hey Ian, don't touch that, it's hot. What do you, then it's a big argument, right? Well, that's what kids do. It's where their brains are. So please, we got to have empathy, right? And as a coach, someone's told me I'm very patient and very empathetic. But I just understand, hey, they don't hate me, and they're not paying attention to me. They've got a freaking lizard brain. What do we expect? Okay? So, that's really why I do what I do, and all the science and evidence around it. Now, I told you at the start, I want to make this practical and digestible. So, how as parents can you change your behaviors? How do we have to operate? This, I promise you, might be one of the most powerful videos. And it will also save you about $20 because you don't have to buy Angela Duckworth's, Carol Dweck's book. Carol Dweck mindset. I think I said it wrong at the start of the presentation. Carol Dweck mindset. So Trey Ugly, someone that I worked with a while ago called Trevor Regan, started a company, Trey Ugly. He has blown up. He's going to Chick-fil-A and corporate presentations, but follow Trey Ugly on YouTube. So I credit Trevor, this is one of his videos.
So check this out. Carol Dweck and her colleagues wanted to look into the impacts that praise had on children's development. So what they did is they took over 400 fifth grade students from all across the nation, and they did a really simple yet interesting study. Here's how it went down. They gave all the kids a really easy non-verbal IQ test. There were 10 questions, and at the end of the test they praised all the children in one of two ways. The first group was praised for their intelligence. So they said, wow, great job, you must be really smart at this. Now the second group was praised for their effort. So they said, wow, great job, you must have worked really hard at this. Now this is a really subtle difference, but the impact it had is incredible. So after praising the kids and getting them divided up into the two groups, they gave them all an option for their next test. The first option was, hey, this next test is going to be a little bit harder, but it's going to be a great opportunity to learn and grow. Now the second option was, this next test will be similar to the first and you will surely do well on it. Now the interesting thing is, out of the group that was praised for their intelligence, 67% of them chose the easier option, while 92% of the kids who were praised for their effort chose the harder test. This is unbelievable to think about, how just the subtle difference in the way that they were praised had such an impact. Carol Dweck explains why this happens.
The child or adult hears, oh, you think I'm brilliant and talented. That's why you admire me. That's why you value me. I better not do anything that will disprove this evaluation. As a result, they enter a fixed mindset, they play it safe in the future, and they limit the growth of their talents. Whereas focusing on the strategies they use, the way they're stretching themselves and taking on hard tasks, the intense practice they're doing, those are the kinds of things that say to a child or an older athlete, it's about the process of growth. As a result, they don't feel, oh, if I make a mistake, you won't think I'm talented. They think, oh, if I don't take on hard things and stick to them, I'm not going to grow.
Next, Dweck and her colleagues gave all the kids a really difficult test. It was one that they would surely fail, but they wanted to look at how the different kids attacked this challenge. Dweck noticed that the group that was praised for effort worked harder, longer, and actually enjoyed this test more than the group that was praised for their intelligence. This group got really frustrated with this test and had the tendency to give up early. After this artificially induced failure round, all of the kids were given a third and final test. Now this test was the same level of difficulty as the first one, but check out the results. The group that was praised for their intelligence actually did worse on this test than the first one. Their average score actually dropped by 20%, while the group that was praised for their effort did significantly better, raising their average score by nearly 30%. This is a 50% difference in performance that was caused by a few subtle differences in the way that they were praised. This study shows how praise can either make or break a child's development. I mean, we all do it. We all want to be positive with the children we work with, so teachers, coaches, parents are always looking for ways to support their kids and tend to praise them quite a bit. So we need to look at research like this and realize, okay, praise is a good thing and there's nothing wrong with being positive, but we need to be very careful about praising someone's intelligence or abilities and focus more on the process and the effort that they put forth. I think this is a pretty easy fix that will help us develop growth mindsets within the kids that we work with. And as all the research shows, having a growth mindset has a big time impact on the development of a child, whether it's on the court, in the classroom, or just in life. Thanks so much for following along and watching this video. For more like this, visit championshipbasketballschool.com and click on the championship newsletter. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
So, we've got to get even more practical, right? Because we currently live in a crazy time. Disaster. If I was 16 now, I mean, if I had this when I was at college, I don't know what would happen.
Please don't ask for a show of hands.
Because what kind of world has this fueled? Instant gratification. Oh man, I want to do that. I want to be an influencer and I'm going to make this, and all I have to do is a selfie. And how hard she works. And they're crazy. They're crazy, but that's not what's portrayed on this screen. So we live in a world of instant gratification. We also live in a world where this happens. If your son or daughter play well, guess what? You want the gratification. Not them, they want to go play with their friends and they want a hug from you. You want every one of your friends to know that Jimmy just won. But you know what you never want them to know? Is that Jimmy stayed up in the dark practicing. I have never, ever seen a parent send a picture of what an amazing practice session that was. My son's effort level in practice is unbelievable. I am so proud of it. I've seen tweets from dads whose son is 6'3" and he's shaving and he's playing in the under-8 leagues and he scored 19 touchdowns. I've seen that. That's not going to continue when he's 12, 13, 14 and everyone catches him up physically. So then guess what he's going to do? He's going to quit. Whereas the kid that was small and wasn't winning, that's doing this, and that's parents are saying, I'm so proud, and he's looking at your Instagram account and going, why is my mum so obsessed with practice? Well, that's how I get connection with my parents. So, you know what? We'll go practice. We'll go put the effort in. Because your kids value what you value. They're a direct extension of you. And I teach this, I taught this at the Bishopsgate Golf Academy to the kids. And my program at the Bishopsgate Golf Academy was a well thought out, and it was a good program. That took all this and it had very little impact. Because when they finished and they left, parents, they didn't win. I spent $60,000 this year and my kid did not win once. Yeah, what psychological skills did they build? I don't care. I want my kid to win, he's going to play on the PGA Tour. So this tool is very dangerous, but also in the right hands, very, very, very powerful. That's the only reason that I'm here today. Because I saw a tweet that praised effort and process. And I was like, I had to look 3 to 5 times. And then that's how we connected. And I said, hey, you're not far away. I'll come and do a talk. Because that's what I want. And it stemmed from the reading of the book. And I want it for me, because I want my career to evolve. But I want it more for your kids. Because the environment that you create at home and the way you communicate to your children is going to be more powerful than any coach ever. You can have Butch Harmon, Hank Haney, and Chris Como in the same room coaching your kid. And if you portray the wrong stuff on here, it's irrelevant. Does anyone have any questions? I've been challenged on this a few times. Coaches that I really respect have told me I'm wrong because they're going to drive business through their students' results. And if their student wins, the world should know. That's not putting the student at the center of what they do. You know whose wins I tweet? Tour players, professionals. You know how many tour player wins I've ever had? 0. I work with a few that never won on the big stage. A few have got their card, and I've tweeted that because guess what? They're playing for money, they're playing for millions of dollars. They should have the psychological capacity to deal with a tweet from me if they're going to go and play in a European tour event, $7 million purse. But a 12-year-old girl who's playing her first ever round, she doesn't have those psychological skills yet. So again, it's all about those phases of participation.
You know, I was having a conversation with a basketball coach last week about praise and feedback to young students. I'm just curious if you've heard this before. He said that the recent studies have shown that a negative interaction with a coach can do as much damage to a player's brain as a concussion. Psychologically.
I mean, I'm not seeing the research, and I don't know much about concussions. I've had one, it was pretty bad. If he's saying that, I can't agree with the statement, but I can definitely agree with what the statement stands for. Psychological, well, I tell you how I can build on that. The research that I've read would show this. Burnout happens. And it either happens physically, and for kids who are playing golf, it's repetitive strain injuries, probably on the wrist or the back. Hitting too many balls on the range and getting in the wrong positions. Or it's burnout from severe outcome focus and severe, you've got to win, you've got to win, you've got to win. It's burnout psychologically. And the numbers of psychological burnout versus physical burnout, the psychological burnout outweighs it on a massive scale. So I can relate to the comment when I go back to the research and stuff that I've read. And again, flip to this one. Talking about creating a process focus. So what is a process focus? If you are focused on the process, this is important for you guys to listen to as well, because we're going to do this outside in a fun/intense environment. If you focus on the process, you are focused on things you can control. Breathing, imagery, all those psychological characteristics for developing excellence, your child can engage in on request. Winning they can't, because there's 25, 50, 100 other people in the field. The score they shoot they can't, because you can't control score. Your ball can bounce anywhere. And guess what? Grass is an imperfect surface. If they miss a 3-foot putt, they could have hit it on the perfect line at the perfect speed. It could have bobbled. As crazy as that sounds, it's imperfect. You cannot control if that ball goes in the hole. What you can control is your attitude to when it misses, or your energy going into the putt. You can control what's called your attentional focus. Practice strokes. Most of the people in this room will have practice strokes and they'll be like, man, I can't believe so-and-so beat me on B2K on the PlayStation. I can't believe I lost at Fortnite last night. They're not engaged in it, right? They've seen Jordan Spieth do it, so they're doing it. They're not engaged in actually, I'm trying to couple speed, line, and feel. They don't know that yet. That's part of the evolution. But that's something that they can focus on, having a good practice stroke. So process focus keeps them at the bottom of the triangle, it keeps them relaxed. If they're relaxed, they're closer to their intention. If they're process focused, their thoughts, they're closer to their intention. So developing a process focus directly helps you get your thoughts and feelings to match your intention. And you'll enjoy playing more because as humans, we want to be in control. And if we're in control, we're relaxed. And if we're relaxed and in control, the results will eventually follow. Now we just reduce the chance of psychological burnout. So rather than when your son or daughter hits it 2 feet from the pin and then makes it for a 2, rather than celebrate that with them, tell them how awesome their breathing routine was. So, I think you made that birdie. It looked so good going into the ball. Always bring it back to something that they can control. And that's a key component in gaining that result. Okay, another how. So, for the hows, praise is a big one. Your use of social media is a huge one. Helping your child develop a process focus, and this one. TGFU, teaching games for understanding. So I put this presentation together last night, and I googled how much is the gaming industry valued at. $135 billion is the value of the gaming industry. And you know why? Because it's fun and it's addictive. And guess what? When your kids started playing Fortnite, guess what happened? They failed. And they failed and they failed. Or when they play Madden against their friends and they can't return a kickoff or they don't know the buttons. They weren't born with an innate ability to operate a joypad. They learned that and they failed and they came back. But these things are freaking addictive and kids love it. They love it. They love games. So if you're teaching golf swing, if you're teaching distance control, if you want them to get out of a bunker better, if you want them to chip it closer, work on their practice stroke, put it into a game. And I'm going to show you guys how we can do that. I have no idea what the facility looks like. I really right now have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a game. So there'll be fun for the people that want it to be fun. For the people that want to compete a bit more and have it intense, there will be. And I'll also add what's called a constraint. And a constraint can be placed on the environment, on the task, or on the individual. So for example, it might be running. The game that I'm going to build is going to have some form of running in it. Because what happens when we run a heart rate? What happens when a heart rate's up high and we have to hit a golf shot? We all tense. So if the student wants to be successful in this game, they're going to have to learn to lower their heart rate. And then that's something, if you teach it in this kind of environment, it may transfer more effectively into play than you just standing on the range saying, breathe, hit, okay? So teaching games for understanding and constraints-led learning is vital. And look, I've showed you videos from other experts, I've quoted research. At this juncture, I have to say, because some people often think, oh, he's one of them. Freaking participation medal guy, this guy. Fun. I'm not. We can all have fun. There's going to be a winner or a loser, because there's a winner or a loser in life. But if it's fun, and your child loses, they can come back because they want to have fun. And then if they do decide that they want to win, you've got to push them a little bit up that continuum towards the more intense training, but only when they want it. So I don't believe in participation medals. I believe there should be a winner, a I believe there should be a loser, because when you go for a job interview after college, someone's getting it, someone's not. So we have a duty to help students deal with failure, because it's going to happen a lot in the big bad world. But for me, John Wooden is the winningest basketball coach of all time. I'm sure you guys probably know him more than me. If you Google his record, look how many times he won. Guess what? That wasn't what he was focused on with his team. Winning is a byproduct of everything that I've just discussed with you guys today. If you want to create an environment that breeds a champion, that breeds a winner, it's psychological excellence, it's process focus, it's effort in training, it's grit, self-determination. And hopefully you've seen how you can create those yourself and you have some takeaways. Because this guy had it right. Ultimately, the trophies, the money, whatever it is that you're after, those external rewards, once you get them, you just want more and more and more. You earn 10 million a year, you want 12 million. You earn 12 million a year, you want 24 million. Tiger Woods wins one major, he wants a second. All those outcomes just keep stacking up. But what doesn't stack up is self-actualization. Self-actualization comes from knowing that you have put the effort in and you've engaged in the absolute best that you possibly can. When you put your head on the pillow at night, if you know you did everything you possibly could to achieve that goal, even if you achieved it, even if you didn't achieve it, you will be satisfied. External motivation will carry a student so far, but it will fade. Internal motivation is a fire that will keep burning no matter what the result is.